Guardian Heroes is hands down the best beat-em-up ever created. Released on the Sega Saturn in 1996, spawning a direct sequel on the Game Boy Advance in 2004, and with a re-release on the Xbox Live Arcade in 2011, it was dubbed a fighting RPG by the development team, and this title fits the game absolutely perfectly. Calling Guardian Heroes simply a beat-em-up is borderline insulting when considering its depth and scope of its content. It truly is part RPG, part beat-em-up, and part fighting game. The story in Guardian Heroes is engrossing and well told throughout the game's multiple paths you can choose, and the multiple endings to experience alongside all these colorful, emotive, and sometimes zany characters. There are a few key events that happen as an overarching story point, but for the most part, the first dozen or so playthroughs will be unique ones. Throughout your journey, you will be gaining experience for levels, raising your HP and MP, and having your choice of stats to boost along the way that any RPG fan will recognize. You don't actually unlock any new skills or spells to accompany your levels, which is fine with me since you have them all from the very beginning instead. Those are all the things that give Guardian Heroes its RPG essence, so where does the fighting come into play? Well, you really beat the heck out of your opponents in this game. The mechanics of this game more closely resemble a fully functional, standalone fighting game than your standard beat-em-up. Each one of the 5 main characters in Guardian Heroes come fully equipped with a solid set of standard attacks, with guard, light, and heavy attacks being A, B, and C respectively, special attacks which don't consume MP, and MP consuming magic attacks. You can even chain standard attacks into specials and magic for some sort of makeshift combo, like with Han for instance I'm able to special cancel my string into a shoulder charge special move for a little extra oomph at the end. Now that's pretty cool. Now I said before the 5 main characters in the game, so who else is there? First of all, it comes with every playthrough that at the end of the first level, we meet our undead companion who will be accompanying us along our journey. And let me tell you, he does more than just stand around looking pretty, unless that's what you want him to do. You can select a menu specially designated for him with the X button and choose from the following commands: attack, defend, follow, hold, or go berserk. When the undead one goes berserk, he can also let loose a completely obliterating explosion. Granted, he doesn't get hit out of it, so make sure to use it at the right time and defend him when he's charging up. After you get past our main characters and our undead hero, just look at that roster. That's 45 characters you could play as. And thankfully, all of their moves are viewable in a separate menu within the game. Thank goodness, because that manual would be huge otherwise. When you first see this screen, it's going to be empty, but slowly and surely through every playthrough and every new enemy or scenario you encounter, it'll fill up and they will all join your assemblage. But sadly, you don't get to play with them through story mode. Wait, story mode? If there's a story mode, then that must mean that there's also a kick-ass versus mode too. Guardian Heroes in versus mode could possibly be one of the most fun and frenetic experiences you will ever have on the Sega Saturn or anywhere else. If you have access to a multi-tap, up to you and 5 other people can duke it out in a giant brawl. You versus the computer, you can split up the teams, set the levels, choose different colors, which is really dope. I wish you could do that in story mode. You can even just sit back and chill out while 6 maxed out final bosses go at each other and watch the insanity unfold. You can battle it to the death in versus mode, or you can set a timed battle which is built around points. Taking damage lowers your points and dealing damage raises your points. You can go into the negative or positive, and the highest number wins, so you know what you have to do. Now, I haven't mentioned this yet, but it actually fits in perfectly now, and that is that the same experience building system applies in versus mode too. Usually that doesn't matter in a typical fight to the death, because how many levels are you really going to gain before one of you dies? But in a timed battle, especially if it's a longer one, your mission would then be to gain as many levels as you could as quickly as you could to slowly overpower your opponent and get the upper hand. How freaking cool is that in a fighting game? Are you getting from this gameplay and music that the game also looks and sounds absolutely gorgeous? Good, because you should be. This game was also developed by Treasure, who at the time also had Gunstar Heroes, Dynamite Headdy, and Light Crusader under their belts. All great games across a variety of genres and with unique artistic design for each of them. As I've mentioned before in my video for a stall, the mid-90s were the age of 3D polygons, and beautifully illustrated games like this were seen to be on their way out. A dying art. Nothing better tells this story than this. When asked at the time why Treasure chose to develop a 2D sprite-based game when video game sales were increasingly dominated by 3D games, and when nearly every other Saturn developer was concentrating strictly on 3D games, a Treasure representative commented, "Treasure has built up a tremendous knowledge of 2D sprite know-how. It's an asset that we wish to continue using. And besides, 2D and 3D games can coexist side by side. And because Treasure stuck to their guns by staying true to themselves, we got gifted this amazing game." Guardian Heroes' amazing visual style is paired perfectly with its musical stylings. The music in this game is unbelievably good. Every track is catchy and poignant, and seems to always get introduced at the perfect time. The wide range of moods captured by all the diverse tracks leave me almost flabbergasted that some band or someone could come up with all of that. Well, the two people behind the music are composers in Japan with their own resumes, and one of them is even the chairman of the Japanese Synthesizer Programmers Association. So yeah, they know what they're doing. Despite being questioned on creating a 2D game during the 3D age, Guardian Heroes was still received really well among critics, and even in recent surveys still ranks high as a Saturn game and beat 'em up in general. Its sequel in 2004, however, not so much. I'm sorry, but Advanced Guardian Heroes? I mean, that title alone is terrible. It's on the Game Boy Advance, so of course we have to have Advance in the title. My expectations admittedly are pretty low with a title like that, especially with it being placed so awkwardly on the cover. I mean, that's just hard to read. I probably want to try it out one day, just to follow up with the story and, follow up this video with me talking about that one maybe. But right now, that's not the case. I don't have it, I have no way to play it, and it's not the game I'm making this video about. Though while on that topic, I will mention that Guardian Heroes also saw an updated version of itself come out on the Xbox Live Arcade in 2011 unbeknownst to me, complete with an updated storyline and illustrations, some quality of life improvements, and graphical enhancements too. Now I will definitely have to find a way to check out this version, as taking a Saturn classic and improving on it is something I'm very much interested in. As it is now though, I've owned the Saturn version of Guardian Heroes since 1996, and it's the only version I've ever known. I've put in the time playing this game with friends and playing it by myself, and I can say that incontrovertibly, Guardian Heroes has proven time and time again that it is the best beat 'em up ever created, and quite possibly the best game on the Sega Saturn. There, I said it. It is a prime example of what it means to be a captivating and engaging game from the first moment to the last. And if you haven't played either iteration of Guardian Heroes, you are doing yourself a great disservice. As always, I'm Enigmatic M, and thanks for watching my videos. It's an absolute pleasure to make them for you, and I hope to see you all again next time. Peace out.